We need you to make this successful. Well, how's he made it successful? We thought we'd have 500 people. We have 700 here. We thought we'd have 40 broker-dealers. We have almost 90. We thought we would lose money, which we did last year, and we're making a six-figure profit from it. So I want to give Daniel a unique gift that I hope that he will take and use in some appropriate way.
A Rick Chess Law Firm t-shirt. Purple and lime green.
That's right.
I'm sure that I will wear this in the entire
I certainly.
Thank you very much.
It's the old I saved REISA and all I got was a t-shirt. For those of you who like to work, speak, get involved, the Conference Planning Committee, which Daniel is the chair of, and Jim Fitzpatrick from Steadfast is going to take over as the co-chair for next year. You want to reach out to the folks on his committee. He's going to introduce them a little bit later. Because at the end of the game, shameless promotion, which is what I was doing with him, is what we're about. Now granted, we have an ethics committee to try to get best practices. We have lots of other committees that we're going to talk about. But at the end of the day, if no one sells, we don't exist. So I'm encouraging you to find a way to help your fellow members of REISA. And one of the good ones would be Conference Planning Committee. We did 5 conferences this year. We're planning on doing 5 conferences next year. A little differently. But please, when Daniel introduces his members, give them your card afterwards and say, I'd like to be involved. I can make calls. I can help put together a panel. I can do something that will help. Well, what's my philosophy? Well, one, at 56, I got to write it down because I won't remember. Without the glasses, there's not a snowball's chance that I would be able to read it. When I took over this organization, this was our philosophy. You go back a couple of years ago, this is from my broker dealer, 1031 exchanges. Now, what was a fairly narrow focus, we all understood the focus. It was easy to have a conference, a lot of work involved, but we knew what the focus is. REISA is this. It's a blank sheet. It's like when I turned 50 and people said, don't get so worried about it. You're now a young 50 rather than an old 49. REISA is a young 50. We've been around for a while, and we as a group have the opportunity to build an organization that fits for this next decade, that fits for our members. And I'll be glad to get a little bit about committees. And folks, we work together. We're going to make something very special. So what's my philosophy? Philosophy number 1. Our theme here is invest in success. Because there's nobody coming to rescue you. We may have hope in D.C., but hope without some activity is not going to get you anywhere. I mean, hope without activity is like marrying your divorced spouse and you never went through marriage counseling. You know, you're doing the same thing, you're expecting a different result. So, number 1, invest in success. You're here. You've got 700 people here. You're investing in that success because realistically, we as a group are going to make a difference or we're going to fail. We're going to work together on this. Number 2, it's the journey, not the destination. Some of you know the movie Rudy and know that the author of the book, the gentleman who, as a young man, wanted to play for Notre Dame football, whatever it took. And he was short, and he was slow, and he wanted to play for, and he did everything along the way. And in the end of the movie, he gets to play 2 plays for Notre Dame. But the point for Rudy, and he will be talking to you tomorrow morning, and hopefully you'll all be here, Daniel will be introducing him, is at the end of the day, the destination lit his way. But what was important was the journey. The people we met, the people who helped, he gifted forward. For members of REISA, number 2 philosophy, it's the journey, not the destination. Third and final is we already have in this room all the answers. Just through the committees that we've had today, we've had oil and gas, we've had best practices, we've had how to put together a sponsor, we've had a great program with CCIM. What everyone said was great presentations. But what I learned the most was talking to the people at the tables, talking to the people in the halls. We have found on the board of directors why it works so effectively as a board is for several years there, as our economy went down the tank, a lot of us kind of backed away. Kind of hid. I'm telling you, it's time to come out. Groundhog's Day is over. It's time to come out and get involved. So some of you caught here, broker-dealers, we waived membership, brought you in some of the reps, we helped out one another. There is no free lunch. If you haven't picked it up from the hope comment, there is no free lunch. This is where we need you to work. We need every one of you to find one committee to be on. You don't have to do all the work, but you have to be on a committee. In your little packet is a schedule for all the different things that are going on. Look at it for committees. I'm going to tell you about a few of them and suggest some things. If you like monitoring legislators and regulators, you want to go more into that. I was a state legislator at one point, and we literally passed a blank sheet of paper and got it signed by the government. There are scary things that happen in legislative and regulatory. Oh, boy, our whole industry has had scary things happening to us. We need your help. Guide. We have ethics tomorrow. Ethics is doing the best practices for Reg D, doing the best practices for non-traded REITs. We're working on the best practices for sales and marketing. If you're involved in any of those, talk to somebody in ethics committee. Tony's going to be up here in a little bit, who's been involved with the ethics committee since the beginning. He can help you get involved. That's tomorrow. If you are good at communicating with capital markets, who's just tracking, where's their money available? You think not having debt available is hurting our industry? Of course it is. But there are deals getting done. And the capital markets campaign kind of figures out what's going on and gets the word out. It's almost needing a telephone tree to get the word out to you quickly. If you'd like to develop things, if ever you were an educator, if any of you do any kind of seminars, we have an education committee that does webinars every month. The Von Muren would love you to come and help. It is a great way for you to get to know the organization, and for some of your sponsors, a great way for you to get known within this organization. It frustrates me when I get calls a week before the conference, and somebody I have never heard of, Rick, I got to be on a panel. Who are you? What have you done? How have you helped? If you help and get involved, hopefully a lot of you will be on the panels next year and involved that way. Anybody here do sales and marketing? I mean, we've got Lisa Aubrey admitting to it. I mean, there was a time that all the hands went up. You're not doing sales and marketing, you're not in this industry. We have on Monday both a membership committee and a marketing committee. You have that talent. We need you to help. REISA. So that's Monday for the committees. Tuesday, we have a due diligence meeting. I know a lot of the broker-dealers are coming to that. I know from Paul it's going to happen. We have an editorial committee which we write. I mean, hopefully some of you used to get FYI every 6 weeks, 8 weeks, whatever. Good information, but somewhat dated. Now every week, Jill's putting together a summary. I have heard so many compliments for that. We need people to edit articles. Patricia's going to be up here in a little bit talking about her foundation and the things that we're doing there. And Patricia, I don't know that this is the right answer, but I'm from Virginia. We're big into NASCAR. And I thought about NASCAR, and I saw the stuff from Griffin. You know, last year, Kevin came in his pink tennis shoes. This year, they're racing. So I come up with this, that we will rent out space on the various board members. And depending on the location, you know, you can buy a piece of a board member as a foundation to raise some money for. I hope that's an acceptable kind of idea. Different bargaining parts are worth more than others for that. Board of Directors. I want to thank the Board of Directors. It has been a wonderful experience working with them, growing with them, and I particularly want to have 4 people stand: John Boyd, David Harkness, Shannon Ford, and Dick Lipton. These 4 who are going off the board at the end of the year. John Boyd's been our liaison with capital markets. David Harkness created the marketing committee that exists today. Shannon Ford has been my ethics guru and a good friend. Dick Lipton has been the legal advisor to the organization and has done wonderful things. So if we could get some applause for those 4 that